all the games I used to play in my younger, wilder days. The game of clubs and tees had never crossed my mind. But after some discussion with my closest, dearest friends, I decided...
Welcome into what is the last episode of the Turn Fantasy Golf podcast for the 2020-2021 PGA Tour season. Tour Championship coming up. We're going to recap the BMW Championship and talk about this crazy weekend we had. Joe Nicely is here with me from Rotoballer.com, lead golf editor there. Joe, how are you doing? How was your weekend? Hoping that it cools off a little bit. What we got going on?
Doing great, man. Doing great. It was a hot weekend here, but fun. Played golf Sunday morning and then got home just in time to kind of catch the stretch run of the BMW and watch that amazing playoff, man. Such a fun tournament. I know, we can spend some time talking about what a birdie fest it turned out to be and whether that's deserves its spot in the playoffs. But no matter how you feel about that, really fun tournament. Dramatic conclusion. Two guys going at it, two totally different dynamics in their personalities. Patrick Cantlay and Bryson DeChambeau, and I watched every bit of it, man. Really enjoyed it. Really cool event.
Absolutely. For whatever the Monday finish the week before was disappointing from viewership standards, this did not disappoint. We're going to talk a little bit more about that, Joe. But like you said, man, it was a hot weekend. Labor Day's right around the corner, hoping that weather breaks a little bit, cool off, time to put some chili up on the stove, maybe some chips and Rotel and Velveeta. That's what we do down here in the South. And we watch a lot of football. Football's right around the corner. College football kicked off kind of last weekend with a few games on Saturday. And now we've got NFL, just 10 days away, Joe. So guys, we're here each and every week. If you like what you hear, like, subscribe, share with your friends, comment on us, man. We'll comment back. Come find us on Twitter. We'll talk back too. But football right around the corner, 10 days away. What has Rotoballer got in store for us for the next golf season? And like I said, football right around the corner. NFL, undoubtedly the most popular thing in fantasy sports. Gets everybody excited. You have year-long leagues. You got weekend, you got early slates, late slates. Joe, what's Rotoballer got in store for us for here in a week?
Yeah, if you're watching or listening to this show, we know you're kind of huge on our PGA stuff, but I really want to encourage you guys to go to rotoballer.com before football season kicks off. Consider our NFL Premium Pass. If you're listening and familiar with our PGA Premium Pass, and what kind of work and effort we put into that. It's even expanded for the NFL guys. We got a huge staff over there cranking out amazing content. We got a draft kit available over there if you haven't drafted for your season-long leagues yet. We will support you with season-long league info throughout the year. We also have amazing DFS content. I'll be doing an article over there this year every week for Draftkings NFL DFS. So really encourage you guys to go over to rotoballer.com, check it out. Right now, you can use my promo code NICE, N-I-C-E, just like you use for PGA. You can get 50% off our NFL Premium Pass. Go to rotoballer.com/radio and sign up now before football starts.
There you go. Like I said, rotoballer.com, we say each and every week, best place in the world for your daily fantasy needs. That is zero doubt in my mind. It's the best place to go for that. So let's get back to the BMW second leg of the FedEx Cup playoffs. I was very high on the Bryson DeChambeau coming in, the length of the course, the four par fives. And I almost texted you on Friday, Joe, or actually I called you Friday and we didn't get to talk for just a second. You got interrupted at work, so had to go, no biggie. But I was going to tell you, man, I really felt, and it could be a condition-based thing about the golf course that they played this week. It was a disgrace to the PGA Tour, in my opinion. I understand that they shoot 26, 27 under, and they, what's the next guy, 18, 19, whatever they were, 5-7 out from third place. But so, obviously they played really good compared to the rest of the field. I understand. But I mean, it was like every day you're waiting for somebody to shoot 62, 61, 59, whatever. To me, it was a disgrace to the PGA Tour in general. But I'll be honest, the golf course looked amazing. We do like exciting holes. I don't know if the PGA Tour, and they can't Bryson-proof golf courses like they try to Tiger-proof courses, but it's not going to be good for the PGA Tour in the future if there's 6 holes that he can reach in putt for eagle when the rest of the field can reach 2, 3, 4 maybe. What's your thoughts on the BMW as far as the golf course goes? And then we'll talk a little bit more about the playoff.
Yeah, it's interesting, man. It's kind of a problem that we're going to be facing more and more often, especially as the PGA Tour kind of tries to bring these new and unproven venues in, maybe venues that haven't hosted PGA Tour events before. Obviously, Caves Valley had hosted a senior U.S. Senior Open and a Senior Players Championship, and I think it's probably not entirely fair to judge Caves Valley off last week. Had rained a lot, was really soft. Had the lift cleaning place going. I know 1 round, maybe 2 last week, so obviously that always lowers scores. But yeah, I mean, there's going to be those that say, and I think you feel this way, Andrew, that a golf course that's going to allow 25 to 30 under has no place, kind of in the FedEx Cup playoffs when we're trying to determine a FedEx Cup champion. I get that, but at the same time, these guys, are very, very good. The weather, the course conditions are to a certain extent out of everyone's control. So these guys are going to light these golf courses up. I said it in a number of my articles last week. We said it on this show. Pretty much, if it's a golf course that you've not heard of or you aren't super familiar with or you've not seen on the PGA Tour schedule at some point, these guys are probably going to light it up. And that's what happened with Caves Valley. We saw that happen at Concession. We saw it happen at Shadow Creek. We saw it happen at Sherwood. All these kind of new golf courses that were tossed in because of COVID and some other reasons. We've seen these guys light it up, and that's just the way it's going to be. If a course isn't hard enough to kind of be a mainstay on the PGA Tour schedule, when these guys go there, for the most part, unless we're talking about a major championship layout, they're going to score. So it's just one of those things, man. At least we got a really competitive golf tournament, and you're right, Andrew. It's an exciting layout and a good layout, made for a fun tournament to watch. Some people argue that it's out of place in the playoffs, and I can see that. But at the end of the day, we had a fun, really intense tournament, so that's all we can really ask for.
Yeah, and I just going back to what I said, the golf course looked great, amazing. But how neat would that course be in a team setting such as the Ryder Cup, President's Cup right around the corner that we got coming up? I could see that being way more exciting than Whistling Straits is going to be, coming up. So, but back to the playoff. Let's talk a little bit about. I might have texted you and said, good or bad, like him or love him. Bryson's the 3rd draw on the PGA Tour overall. You got Tiger, second to none. Then Jordan, for whatever reason, we get behind Jordan. Everybody gets behind Jordan. And then you've got Bryson. And Bryson actually might have more eyes on him than Jordan if you think about it, because you have the lovers and the haters with him. I mean, I think it was Sunday. They pulled out the iron on the first tee. They booed. He laughed and put it back, pulled out the driver, and place went crazy. I mean, he is great for golf. He's putting more eyes on it. As brain dead as he is, as far as like how people perceive, how he wants to be perceived and how he is perceived, he is exciting to watch. That first hole, man, yesterday, he drove it right in that front bunker. If he'd hit it a foot further, it was right at the hole from 343, Joe. And then, I will say this, and somebody read a tweet today from somebody, I think maybe from ESPN or Golf Week or something. When Bryson hits it straight, he's going to be tough to beat on any golf course. And that is a fact, Joe. You saw how good he hit the driver, aside from maybe just a few drives, man, he hit the driver amazing this weekend. The golf course was perfect for him too. So playoff was great. A little bit of, I don't know. I don't think in the group there probably was any tension. If you talk to either one of them, they'll probably say love playing with each other, gamemanship. But TV sure did play it up a lot about possible comments back and forth, staring at each other, coming back and forth. Do you think that was a little bit drawn up by the announcers, or do you think there was actually you could feel that on the golf course?
Yeah, I think that was played up a little bit. I mean, I think Patrick Cantlay's such a tough competitor, man, that he's gonna kind of be in bulldog mode against anybody in that situation. Maybe there was a little bit of a chip on his shoulder there from Bryson asking him to stop walking, but I also don't think it's a huge deal. Caught a little bit of his press conference afterwards. He completely brushed it off, act like it was no problem at all, and that's likely the case. But Cantlay, man, is just such a hard-nosed player, such a tough competitor that you feel like he's going to be grinding against whoever he's playing out there. And Bryson, man, you're right. I mean, he really the term that's kind of thrown around a lot's moved the needle, and he certainly does, man. He's such a compelling guy to watch. That's the word that keeps popping in my head is compelling. Such an interesting juxtaposition kind of between how he is perceived by people, how he wants to be perceived. There's just so many interesting things going on there with Bryson, man. He's a showman by nature, but yet he doesn't speak to the media after he loses. Just so interesting, man. And he's an endlessly interesting guy. I'm not a fan of him personally. I completely respect what he's done to his game and respect how well he plays the game. But there's no doubt, man, that he's a guy you want to watch, and you really can't take your eyes off of him when he's in contention in a golf tournament.
Absolutely, Joe. I think I tweeted out a video of, the kind of little sound bite behind it, of Bryson asking him. And like you said, Patrick Cantlay is, if not the most professional, maybe second most professional PGA Tour player when it comes to handling the media. And I really wasn't a huge fan of Patrick Cantlay. And we usually don't promote any other podcasts out there, but you all need to go back and listen to Patrick Cantlay at No Land Up podcast. I don't know what episode it is, just search it. I was all in on him after that, talking about his regiment, his what he has to do to keep his back healthy, what he has to do, what kind of foods he has to eat, and how hardworking the guy is. And literally his game fits any golf course, any major championship, any tight little golf course, any long golf course. And like you said, man, whenever he's on, he's in full blown bulldog mode. He's just fun to watch, Joe. And I agree. There was probably nothing inside that group. Kind of played it up a little bit for TV, but from when that comment was made on 14, I think it was, the next however many 10 holes that they played, including the playoff, probably the most exciting golf we've seen this year. Yeah,
man. I mean, Cantlay I don't know that I've ever seen a guy, outside of, we're talking like Tiger Woods or something in certain situations. I don't know that I've ever seen a guy make that many must-make putts, man. Cantlay made like 5 or 6 just must-makes, or the tournament's over. He makes every single one of them. So just an unbelievably clutch performance. Had a historically great putting week. I think he gained the most strokes gained putting ever recorded since they've been keeping up with the stat. So the dude is amazing tee to green, extremely solid, and obviously when he has a historically great putting week, he's gonna be right there to contend. But that shows you how well Bryson played as well. Cantlay putted that great, and Bryson was still fighting him tooth and nail down to the end. So hats off to both those guys, man, for putting on a good show, really playing hard and grinding it out.
Absolutely. Patrick Cantlay, you broke my heart player of the week last week, beating Bryson DeChambeau in a multi-hole playoff. But congratulations to your 2021 BMW champion, Patrick Cantlay. Now let's move on to this week, Joe. Folks, this is going to be
we have to.
This is going to be the funkiest DraftKings DFS, DraftKings FanDuel. This is going to be the funkiest setup you're going to do. 30 players, no cut. They have starting blocks that they're in. I mean, I'll just run through like top 5 right here. You got Patrick Cantlay starting off the tournament at 10 under. Tony Finau starting off at 8 under. Bryson DeChambeau at 7. John Rahm at 6. Cam Smith at 5. And it goes on and on and on, stepping down one shot at a time, groups, all the way down to the last 5, which is Daniel Berger, EVR, Sergio, Billy Ho, and Patrick Reed starting out at even. So, folks, if you're uncomfortable with this setup, with this format, I can completely understand. But you don't have to take the week off, because we have our man Spencer on the daily slates, weekend, day in, day out. And I would recommend, if this is uncomfortable for you, to start out with this. We really don't know where this tournament is going. This is the 3rd year that they've had it with this format. I would personally recommend, and might do so myself, being a slate only week or a daily slate only week for me. What do you think about that idea, Joe?
I think that's actually a really good idea, Andrew. I like that a lot. Kind of a little bit of normalcy in an unnormal week. So head over to Rotoballer. Check out our buddy Spencer Aguiar. He does a showdown slate every single round of the tournament. So definitely recommend that out and hitting up those showdown slates this week.
Yes, check out Spencer's daily slate each and every night. I think he puts it up around 7, 8 o'clock at night Eastern time. But Joe, we're here to talk about the tournament. So the Tour Championship, folks, this is, I think, pull it up real quick. This is the 34th playing of this tournament. It is played at East Lake Golf Club, and I think it's been here since 06 as well. It's been here off and on through the years, 98, 2000, 2002, and then it's been here since 04 present. It's several different places before that. East Lake Golf Club was built in 1904. Tom Bindelow, very, very famous home golf club of Bobby Jones, who is was the course designer, and of course, of Augusta National. Renovated, and it's been renovated several times, Joe. Renovated in 13 by Donald Ross, pretty big name. Renovated again in 94, 08, and 2016 by Reese Jones. So some of you, has there been better hands on any golf course in the world?
It's well cared for down there. Well cared for. Kind of the home of Bobby Jones, and they're taking care of the place. Pretty tough golf course, Andrew, to close things out with. Always is, which makes it especially interesting with this staggered start, because this is a really tough golf course to make up ground on, man. They a couple of par 5s there, what are normally par 5s, they stretch them out the long par 4s this week. No drivable par 4s really. That's kind of become a fad to see on the schedule. So this is a tough golf course, and it's tough to make up ground, which kind of makes it interesting that it's always the setting for the Tour Championship, where these guys will literally start out behind in a lot of cases.
That's right, Joe. Like you said, par 70, 7,300 yards, maybe 7,350. Bermuda greens, Zoysia tees, Zoysia fairway, Zoysia Bermuda rough. So you're going to get a great lie in the fairway and probably not a great lie in the rough. Like you said, not an easy golf course to make up ground. And to me, this is the story that this golf course is going to tell, like it tells every year, that somebody like a Xander Schauffele, somebody that doesn't make a lot of bogeys, is going to be right here, Joe. Somebody like Rory McIlroy can handle the big golf courses. JT, Tony Finau, Brooks Koepka. I expect those guys, people that can handle big golf. I don't mean big golf pressure-wise. I'm talking about big golf courses are going to be here. And I'm not just talking about hitting it long, hitting par 5s too. I'm just talking about big golf, long par 4s, long par 5s, long par 3s, big greens, chipping and putting, make pars, not bogeys. That's going to be the story of this golf course you're going to tell to me, Joe. Anything else about the golf course before we move on to the slate, man?
No, man. I think you hit the nail on the head. We see a ton of crossover between guys that perform really well in majors, seem to perform really well at East Lake. So I imagine that'll be the case again this week.
Yes, like I said, no cut event, 30 players. Let's just get right into it, Joe. Don't even really know where to start. 13,000 and above. John Rahm starting off what? 6 under. Patrick Cantlay starting out 10. I mean, if you got to pick one of these two, I got to go with Cantlay. John Rahm can handle the bigger golf course probably a little bit better than Cantlay can overall. But like I said on the opening, Cantlay fits every golf course he's going to ever tee it up on. He also has a 4-shot lead. If you're forcing me to play one of these two, which I don't know, man, we're 50-50 on the leader of the first day coming out winning this thing. So I probably got to go with the guy with the 4-shot lead.
Yeah, I hear you, man. I'm probably going in the other direction. Just because, I mean, yeah, he's opening with a 4-shot deficit, but if we dig into course history, Andrew, if we're just talking Cantlay versus Rahm, Cantlay T21, T21, T20. So he's never cracked the top 20 in 3 starts at East Lake. This is out of a 30-person field, guys. So Patrick Cantlay has not played very well on this golf course. Coming off, you have to feel like a really emotional high last week. There might be a little letdown coming in. And then we look at John Rahm, who's kind of stormed throughout the latter portion of this season. Obviously won the U.S. Open at Torrey, played really well throughout the latter portion of the year. And he had a 4th place here last year at a T7 back in 2017. And as you mentioned, he's got the major championship qualities that are needed to play well on this golf course. So if I'm looking at these two guys, and we can even duck down to Bryson there, kind of similar course history to Cantlay. Really not a great layout for him, Andrew. So if we're talking about just these top 3, Cantlay, Rahm, and Bryson, I'm certainly leaning John Rahm despite starting with the deficit like you mentioned.
And not just, I mean, I can't argue any point you just made. DeChambeau is definitely not a bogey avoidance type of player to me. There's many guys in this field I'd pick over him on this golf course. And I picked DeChambeau last 2 weeks, folks. So don't, from a heart place. So don't think it's just because of the hate on him. Moving on down, you already mentioned DeChambeau, so we'll just skip right over him. Tony Finau, JT. I mean, the pricing's everywhere, Joe. There's a 30-person field. We don't know what they're starting out at. We have to, click over here and you got to see what they're starting out at. JT's 4 under. Tony Finau's 8 under. I mean, it's just this is gonna be this is hard. DJ's 10-7. I like DJ. I like DJ at 10-7. I mean, can we start there? Spieth 10-4. Cam Smith. Nobody's gonna be talking about him at 10-1. Where are you at in this price range?
I think you have to look at Tony Finau. Just because he is up there, he's starting out this golf tournament 8 under this week, coming off a huge breakthrough win. And how ironic would it be that the guy that never wins grabs a win in these playoffs and then maybe wins the FedEx Cup. I'd love to see it for Tony, actually. I think it'd be really cool for him. I'd like to see him walk away with that $15 million. But he's got 2 top 7s here in his last 4 Tour Championship starts, and he's starting at 8 under par, just 2 behind Cantlay. And then, as you mentioned, man, it kind of really gets squirrely when we get below these top 4. When we get below Cantlay, Rahm, DeChambeau, and Finau, that's when things start kind of going sideways. Got JT starting all the way back at 4 under, I believe. That's 6 shots behind Patrick Cantlay. So, I mean, yeah, these guys are amazing. They're very good players, but when we start talking about actually winning this golf tournament, Andrew, that's a pretty big bear to overcome. I think you got DJ starting at 3 or 4, Spieth down there as well. You mentioned Cam Smith, who's actually starting at 5. That's kind of that cutoff point. When we get below Cam Smith, then we start seeing these guys in groups, 4 under, 3 under, so on. So Cam Smith's interesting. Hasn't played extremely well here in a couple of Tour Championship starts, but the guy's kind of overcoming the odds this year. We've seen him get up and down from everywhere and just play amazing. But if you're talking in this little section right here, course history-wise, JT certainly stands out. Couple of runner-ups here at T3. That's in the last 4 years. Hasn't finished worse than tied for 7th here in the last 4 years. But that deficit, man, really makes you think when you're talking about 11K price player. Do we want to roll with JT? And the next one that kind of pops out is a guy that won this tournament a couple of years ago, won the FedEx Cup, 2 times FedEx Cup champion. That's Rory Mcilroy. Really showed me something last week, Andrew, bouncing back from a disappointing outing at Liberty National to play really, really well. But he's starting in 2 under, man. That's 8 shots back. If there's somebody in the field that can make that up, it's certainly Rory. But man, what a hole these guys are in. We can toss Xander in there too, who's got perhaps the best course history right there with Rory of anyone in this field at East Lake. Xander's won here before and had a couple of runner-ups, but he's at that 2 under mark as well. So, it's pick your poison. We can get into whether we like this format or not. I think most people would say they don't. I actually we were talking a little bit before we started recording, Andrew. I think we both like the fact that the person that wins this tournament wins the FedEx Cup. I do like that aspect of it, but I'm not sure about this staggered start, man. But I'm really not sure. I'm really not sure what you can do to kind of reward the way the guys play all year, reward how they do in the playoffs up until this point. You want to reward that. And we do like the one winner aspect. So, man, it's just a tough week.
Yep. Yes, Joe. And as we move on down the price point here, and we've already talked about a few of these names, there's 3 names that I really, really like with their pricing and with this golf course. And I'm going to go ahead and give you those names right now. Colin Morikawa, 8,300. Xander Schauffele, 8,900. Rory McIlroy, 9,300. That's 3 guys I really like coming into this week, even though they're starting at 3 under, 2 under, 2 under respectively, tied for 11th and tied for 16th. But here's the thing is, just like any other showdown event that this is, which is 4 days, no cut, you're going to have the winner. And not sure that the winner could come out of that group, but those are 3 guys I love. I love the idea of Colin Morikawa playing a tough golf course, even though he's starting way back there at 3 under. I mean, the guy could literally go the whole tournament, not make a bogey. I mean, but I think they got some rain down there over the past month, though, Joe. So we might have softer conditions, might be a little bit easier, but also a little longer. And you got to look as you go down this here where they're starting at. You got somebody like Brooks Koepka, I think 2 under at 7,800 versus Xander 89, Rory 93, so that's got to play some factor, right?
Yeah, man, really big price discrepancy there, and we're only gonna have one winner, Andrew. So we gotta find 5 other guys. We obviously want to roster the winner, but we got to find 5 other guys to fill out this DFS lineup. So, we can start looking down the salary scale because, these guys are viable. As you mentioned, Brooks Koepka, really big price discrepancy there between guys like Rory and Xander. And Brooks has played well in this event, has a T3 here back in 2019, had a 6th in 2017. Showed a little bit of form over the weekend last week. Louis, a guy that's played extremely well. Sungjae popped up, I believe, played really well first couple of rounds in this tournament last year before kind of sliding and finishing in 11th, and played really well last weekend. So I think we can look at Sungjae M there at 7,300. These are guys we have to start considering, simply to fill out our DraftKings lineup. So you're right. We can look at that starting position, try to find some price discrepancies there. Maybe dig into course history a little bit and pick and choose these guys as we fill out our rosters.
Yeah. Like you said, we got to have a winner, but maybe we have to spend a lot of money to find that winner, Joe. So we're going to also be a little bit, you're going to get your nails a little dirty and figure out who down here in the bottom is going to go off, for lack of a better term, and finish in the top 5, the top 8. Because like I said, 30 players in the field. This is basically half of, one of the world golf events, So, is there a little bit of fear on the Daniel Bergers and the and the Bryce Koepkas being that far back, if we have one mediocre round, cashing it in, and I'm not saying not finish, but just go out there and do what they do. Is there a little bit of fear in that?
Yeah, there there certainly is, man. But I feel like when you're getting down to this price point, you're looking at guys that are able to make birdies, guys that are able to shoot low rounds on tough golf courses. That's what it's going to come down to. A 65. This isn't Cays Valley, Andrew. This isn't the BMW Championship of last week. A 65 will go a long way on this golf course. So guys like Scotty Scheffler, who have played extremely well in majors and have the ability to go low even on difficult golf courses. Hideki Matsuyama checks that box. We've seen him go low on some WGC and major championship layouts. I certainly think he's capable of getting hot at any time. All he needs is a decent putting day. There's a 64, 65 out there for a guy like Hideki. And Corey Connors, a guy that strikes the ball as well as anyone, kind of in that Hideki mold, just needs a good putting day to get things going. We've seen the tee degree game go extremely well. And then a wild card, we're talking about guys, Sergio Garcia, a guy I very rarely play, but we're down here at the bottom of the barrel, $5,400. Sergio's experience, he's a veteran, had a top 10 the last time he played at Eastlake. He's coming off a great performance. It's a Ryder Cup year, Andrew. We know a lot of these guys are looking ahead to that. We got captain's picks coming up. So Sergio is kind of interesting to me just from a tee to green standpoint down there at 5,400.
I agree, Joe. I'm always going to like on Sergio just because he hits the ball so beautifully. If he puts mediocrely, and I don't know if you've watched him when he puts decent. He's different. Walking around, he stands different, he walks different, he acts different, and he's really enjoyable to watch. But also he's very unenjoyable to watch at times too. So now we're closing up, Joe. This is going to be a real interesting heart dart play here. Where are you at on the dart? Where are you at in your heart for the Tour 2021 Tour Championship? Last time you can pick it this season, Joe. We're going to be taking a few weeks off after this. Get right into football personally. But, where are you at this week?
Yeah, man, some much needed time off. I've heard a couple of guys talk about it. We're kind of limping to the finish line here, man. It's been a very long year, but a very fun one, and we do appreciate all you guys listening or watching. We appreciate you joining us all year, and hope you'll come back and see us in the swing season, because we'll be firing this thing right back up shortly. But yeah, man, to close out the year, dart play. I'm gonna go with the guy I hadn't been on in a while. I'm gonna go with Sung J M down here. I like the recent form. I like the course history. Just gonna throw a little dart there with Sung J. My heart, man. It's really tough to go against Strom. But if we're talking just from the heart, something I'd like to see, something I'm pulling for to happen, I'm pulling for Tony Finau, man. I'd really like to see Tony win the FedEx Cup, win this $15 million. With his starting position, he certainly has an excellent chance of doing that. Has played pretty well at Eastlake, has that major championship top ability that we talked about kind of at the top of the show that you mentioned, Andrew. So I'm going Sung J M as my dart, and Tony Finau, the last heart play of the season.
There you go, Tony Finau. I would love to see that too, and he's playing beautifully. So my dart play is exactly where yours is at, Joe. Sung J M, and I'll tell you why. Mainly because of the price. He plays tough golf courses good. He does everything pretty good on the golf course. I mean, I could see, shooting 6-7 under on his own ball plus is where he's at in his start. That's going to be good enough to finish up there pretty decently. So 10 under, So I like Sung J M as my dart play. My heart, though, is with the man that's been there many times before, Rory Mcilroy. I know he's starting way back. But if he gets hot, arguably the most talented player in the world still today that touches a golf club. Rory McIlroy, hard play. Sung J M, dart play for you, Tony Finau and Sung J M. So, ladies and gentlemen, once again, just like I want to reiterate what Joe said, this has been enjoyable 2020-2021 season. Thank you at rotoballer.com for everything you do. Remember, signing up for the football coming up in 10 days, use the promo code NICE. get you a discount there. Now, guys, we appreciate, just like what Joe said, we appreciate you all listening week in, week out, grinding with us, talking to us on Twitter. Come find us. I'm at Andrew Putters. He's at Joe Nicely. We'll hit you back. Trust me. We like talking to golf fans out there, golf fanatics, DFS fanatics, sports fanatics, anything you want to talk about, but politics. Hit us up on that. Do us a favor, hit the like, hit the subscribe, share with your friends. And for the last time this year, you have listened to the Turn Fantasy Golf Podcast, brought to you by Rotoballer.com.
I've already hit 3 in the lake. It's gone.